Okay, so today we're going to talk about even and odd functions. These are functions that have special kind of symmetry properties. So here, for example, is a definition of an even function. A function f is even if f of minus x equals f of x. Now, if you think about what this algebraic relationship means, it means that the graph of the function is symmetric about the y-axis. And here let's look at an example, f of x equals x squared. So, if we look at the graph of the function, we see that if we were to take the graph and flip it across the y-axis, remember this is the y-axis, and this is the x-axis. So if we were to take this function and flip it across the y-axis, we would get exactly the same graph. And that's how we know that this function is even. But we can also check it using this algebraic relationship. If we evaluate f of minus x, that means we take minus x and we plug it in where x used to be here. So when we plug it in here, we get negative x squared. But this negative 1 is squared now and goes away. So we just get x squared, which is what we started with. Remember, f of x was equal to x squared. So this relationship, f of minus x equals f of x, translates to a symmetry property of the graph, namely that the graph is symmetric about the y-axis. Okay. Now an odd function will also have a symmetry property. Here's the definition of an odd function. F of minus x equals minus f of x. And the symmetry property that this kind of function will have is it'll look the same after you flip over both the x and y axes. So here with even functions, we only had to flip over the y-axis, and we got our picture back the same way. With odd functions, we'll have to flip over both the x-axis and the y-axis, and only after that will our picture end up being the same as when we started. Alright, so an example of an odd function is g of x equals x cubed. Now let's check the algebraic relationship. G of minus x is equal to minus x cubed. And now, when you cube negative 1, you get negative 1 back again. And so this is equal to negative x cubed, which is negative f of x. So we see that g satisfies the definition of an odd function. And when we look at the graph, it has this kind of symmetry property. So if we take this and we flip it across the y-axis, then we'll get something like this here. So this is the flipped over the y-axis. And now, if you think about taking this new graph that we got after flipping it over the y-axis and flipping it over the x-axis, you'll see we get back exactly to the original graph. And that's what makes x cubed an odd function.